how's life been? I've heard you've been very busy.
Yeah, it's been amazing. I've just gone trial with Charlton, which has been
Amazing.
brilliant.
Just starting off, tell me about where it all started for you. When did you start playing football? When did you realise you were good at football?
So I just started playing football at school in, I think, about year 3 at school. And my PE teacher put me in goal because someone was injured. And I just loved it from there. And in half-term camps, I'd go and play football and go in goal. And I just ended up loving it from there.
And then where are you from originally then? Where was this all in the UK or was this abroad?
Yeah, this was all in the UK, but my mum is from Holland, but most of my life has been in England.
Amazing. And how tall are you, Eddie?
I'm 6'3", and 15. So
wow.
Yeah.
So you're quite tall. The goalkeeper, as that's the role you were born to play then, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, so let's flash forward then. So your PE teacher said you were good at football. When did you kind of realise, I might be right at this? When did you think, you know what, I should give this a go?
Well, I think it was I started playing for my local team, and we started winning loads of matches, and I was keeping clean sheets, and I was making saves, and some parents said, you're doing really well, and so from then I just thought, you know what, this actually might be, and I was loving it, so I just thought it might be actually a career choice, which was going well.
Brilliant. And then in terms of like where you've been, let's go from the start. But actually, before I ask that question, have you got like a moment when, so for example, when I thought I was really good at rugby, it was when my team coach pulled me aside and said, you know what, you could do this full time. That for me, that was my moment. I thought, oh God, this is new. What was it for you? Did you ever clock? Did someone come up to you and say, oh, you know what? Was there like a moment for you that was like, oh, this could be good?
Yeah, at UKFT, after my final match, QPR scout came up to me and my mum, and he just said he was impressed, and they actually got it on video, and he just said he was impressed. He liked the way I was playing, and this was when I was about 13, and so that was when I thought, okay, this might be, that was really motivation and cool.
Yeah, amazing. And then just going from where you've been, so obviously you mentioned you came to one of our events when you were 13. So when did you first start coming to UK football trials? And just go through like the journey. So did you start coming to one-day trials, start going to camps? And then where did you go to? Like who did you, in your first time you come, did you get scouted or did you not get scouted? Or do you know what I mean? Run me through it.
So the first UK football trials event I attended was a one-day, and I didn't get scouted, and my report from TAF wasn't actually very good. It said there was quite a lot to improve, but I took that quite well, I'd say, and I told my coach, and he said, okay, that's the stuff we're going to work on. And then I went back to a one-day trial, and I didn't get scouted from it, but we saw that, it was really well done, and so we thought, okay, this could be something going forward. And then I went to a week trial, and I got scouted by QPR, Leyton Orient and Woking. And I actually went on trial at Woking and played there for about half a season. And so that was really good. Then I went back and did another week, and I got scouted by Oxford United, and I think it was Bromley as well. And that was brilliant, but nothing went forward with that. And then I think at a trial after that, at a week, I got scouted by Brentford, and then I ended up going on trial with them for 4 weeks. And so that was the most recent one, which is brilliant. Yeah.
Brilliant. And then you said you're now at Charlton.
Yeah, I'm now at Charlton on trial. So
brilliant. And just from my perspective then, so you've been at Places a fair few times now. So when you walk into the ground now, you must be like, okay, I know what I'm doing now. I'm not like, you're not a rookie in that sort of space. What is the most valuable bit of advice you give to someone else when going on trial? Because it sounds like, and kind of the resilience I find that you've been so many times now to some of our events and gone on trial and not be successful. What do you tell yourself? Okay, this, come on, keep going.
I think it's probably from hearing the stories from other people, how Eze went, through loads and loads of clubs, getting rejected. And there have been loads of players who are now at the top flight who have been rejected so many times. And when Brentford said no, instead of, saying, oh, I'm not good enough, it was that someone's opinion, somebody else's opinion could be different. And so I think that was probably the main thing that kind of brought me back to going back to trials after being said no to.
And for the Brentford, talk me through what happened. What went wrong?
So when I went in at Brentford, there was the goalkeeper who was trialing against me had just come from West Ham, and he was unbelievable. And he had already been, I think, at a few academies, and it really kind of showed the level. And I just think I wasn't quite there either mentally or kind of ability-wise, and they were very playing on the ball, and that wasn't really my style at that point. And so I think if I was good to go into that trial now, I think it would have been quite different. But I'm kind of happy it panned out that way, because now it's taken me on trial at Charlton where I'm really happy, and it's, doing really well there.
Brilliant. And so you're 15 now, right?
Yeah.
And so in your terms now, so where do you think you are in your ability? Do you think, God, you must have learned so much being at that, like getting that experience from those academies and being around top coaches. Where do you think you are in your game at the moment?
Well, I mean, I'd say I'm doing kind of quite well, but I don't think I'm kind of near my peak, because, there are things where it's still, playing a game against another really good academy whilst on trial, it's still nerve-wracking, and I don't think I'm at the level where I can walk onto the pitch being 100% confident, but that's something I'm trying to get to. But I'm still, when I go on the pitch, I have confidence in my ability. It's just I want to get more.
Brilliant. And we've got events come up in February and May and August. So just like people you've like obviously who are going to be in your position and just dying to go on trial or get that experience from a club, what advice would you give them? Because you've been in and out of everything. You've been rejected. You're going to get up. You're going to get there. You're on trial at the moment. What advice would you give someone?
I'd just tell them that all of the coaches want you to succeed, which is what I learned from the first trial, which is all of the advice they give you is really, really good advice. And I think taking it on as much as possible will just, to help you as much, because they just give you a blueprint on how to get scouted. And if you do that and are confident, then I think you'll get scouted if you do that.
Brilliant. And then if you had to say like the three, so let's go more goalkeeper specific. After everything you've learned so far, what do you think three like attributes which are key into being a good goalkeeper?
I'd say confidence, because if you have the confidence to kind of play a high line and play out the back, scouts notice that, and that's something I've gotten feedback on quite a lot. I'd say communication. I got talked to by a scout purely because they heard me talking a lot, and so that just made me realise like.
What do you mean? What happened?
So
what do you mean by that?
So during a trial match, I got told by my coach beforehand, just don't stop talking, just keep on talking. And so during the match, I was telling loads of people what to do, and the scout pulled me aside and he said, the communication's brilliant. It's just if you talk to the strikers and everybody all at once, it just becomes noise. But if you give really detailed information to your defenders, then it will actually help the team. And so I just took that on into other trials, and that was really helpful. And so communication got me a conversation with a scout. So that was really helpful.
And the last attribute, sorry.
That's really tough. I'd say just like shot stopping ability. I think if you're making saves, people notice that. And if you're amazing with your feet, that's brilliant. If your communication's great, that's brilliant. But actually stopping shots is what you're there to do. And so I think if you really tackle that aspect, then you'll get seen.
Brilliant. That's good advice. It's really good advice. And just sort of finally, like your goals at the moment, obviously we don't want to jinx anything about Charlton, but like looking further than that into the future, where do you see yourself? What do you want to happen?
I mean, my main goal is just to go pro. Whether I play in League 2, League 1, Championship, that I just want to go pro. but I'd say I'm aiming for the Premier League, and I'll train like I'm trying to go to the Premier League. And then if I fail, you go down leagues, but you just aim as high as possible. So that's what I'm doing at the moment.
Brilliant. And just finally, like, one of the most interesting things someone said to me once was, you've got to be obsessed with football. You know, if you want to make it there, you've got to be obsessed with it. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, you have to be somewhat obsessed to walk onto a pitch and take criticism. And, so many people told me I wasn't good enough to go on trial at some places. But an obsession with football just took me to keep on going back to the pitch. And I just kept on wanting more and more, even if people were telling me I wasn't good enough. And so I completely agree with them.
Brilliant. That's fantastic. Look, Eddie, I'm going to cut it off there, but that was brilliant. And I really appreciate that.